Okay, so for this next webinar, we're going to be offering more information to our users uh, when it comes to structuring their project or projects using custom domain names. So I'll be starting the webinar by introducing our ReadyMac Stories page, and it will go something like this, like, okay, hey, this is our ReadyMac Stories page. If you're not familiar with it or if you haven't visited before, then I highly encourage you to do so. Our ReadyMac Stories is a series of multimedia editorials that explore the creative legacy of prominent 20th century designers. With this project, we aim to pay tribute to some of the lesser known visionaries who helped shape modern design culture. So as you can see, we already put out quite a few selection of them. And well, this is going to be used as a base for us today to help you understand a few ways that you can use to structure your project or projects. We're going to be covering three different ways. One is using subfolders. The second one is using subdomains. And the third one is just using something as simple as switching your navigation type to horizontal. Okay, so starting with the first one, as you can see, our live stories uh, landing page is currently mapped to a stories subdomain that it's tied to our main domain, readymag.com. And well, whenever a user clicks on any of the stories, for example, this one, they will be sent to a separate project. But if you focus your attention here to the address bar, you'll see that it will look something like this. So it looks like that other project is inside of the same subdomain. It's part of the same subdomain, even though the stories project is currently mapped to the stories subdomain. And this other project is kind of like a part of a subfolder for that subdomain. And if you're trying to achieve these kind of results, that would have to be via our code export feature. Such feature is included with our professional plan and with relevant custom plans as well. So let me walk you very quickly so you can understand the initial steps that you will have to go through in our side, on our end, to go that route. So for example, if we go to, I have the ReadyMac Stories page here ready, the project I mean. And if I click here on the project settings, first I need to publish it. And after it is published, you will see two different options right here to export it. One is to PDF and the other one is to HTML. If we click this one, that will allow us to export the source code for this entire project. And here we will have to specify the custom domain name where this project is going to be uh, located and where it's going to be hosted externally. So after that, on your end, there you get to decide if you want to configure your project along with other projects using subfolders or even subdomains. But again, this is done if you would like to achieve a similar results as our main ReadyMac stories, the way it's currently set. That will be via code export. Again, included with our professional plan, or you can request a custom plan with such feature. Okay, but we're going to be proposing an alternative here. If perhaps you're right now on Creator and you would like to achieve similar results as that, then we suggest you use subdomains for that. And okay, let me just close our live ReadyMac Stories page for now and focus on this one. As you can see, this project right here, it's composed of two basic pages. And if we open it, we have the ReadyMac Stories page and all those other small sections that are going to be sending our visitors to those specific stories. And we're missing the last one right here, and I'm gonna very quickly recreate it so you can follow along with me on this example. And I think the best and fastest way to do this is by selecting this entire section. All of them follow the same kind of format. So if I select all this section and hold Option and Shift, then click on it and drag it all the way here, that fast and easy you can recreate that entire section. Let's just fine tune the position a little bit. And now there are several ways that we can continue here. I can delete this image and do the same with these text widgets, or I can actually just update them one by one. So if I click on this one, this image right here, and if I have the new image ready, maybe on a folder, then I can just drag it here. And as you can see, as I hover on top of that, this icon right there, it's telling me that it will automatically refresh that image with the new one that I'm gonna be using. Okay, perfect. Now I just need to double click on these text widgets, and I'm gonna just update them one by one. Again, this just is one way to do it. You can just delete all of them and create your own new ones with the new information. I usually just prefer this method. I believe it's just quicker to do so. Okay, now the only thing that we're missing is to add some color to this section, so it's ready as it is on the live version. And well, we have to double click on that shape widget and look for the color property and look for that color, or if I have the code for it ready in my mind or there, then I can just simply type it. I believe it's 2290F7. Okay, so basically we have our project ready now. And now we would like to start mapping everything. So first we need to map this project to our main domain. And then we need to create a link for this story that goes to our other project. And finally, we need to map our story, this last story project, with the corresponding subdomain. So let's start by creating the first domain. As you can see right here, I have my registered website where I'm already in my DNS settings panel, and where I can manage my DNS records. So the first record that we need to create to point our project to our servers is an A-type record with the value, with this value at. And so we can point it to our servers, we have to input this value, that it's 54.194.41.141. Okay, that's the main record that will allow this domain to understand our servers, to communicate with our servers. And after that, we need to create at least two more default records for this occasion right now. And the next one is for our story project. And I believe since we're gonna be using the last story as a reference, this one right here, I believe I'm just gonna use the name for that designer as a reference for my subdomain. And the value that we need to input here is domains.readymac.com. And the last one that we need to do, this one is not mandatory. We actually advise our users to create it, because sometimes you're worried that if one of your visitors visit your main page by typing the www before your main domain, So the best way to approach this is by creating another subdomain with this value. Again, that will be pointing to domains at readymac.com. Okay, that way it despises if they just type in the full address or your in my case right now your test domain.cloud, or if they type in www at your test domain.cloud, it will still direct you to your project. So this is the best way to approach these kind of situations. And as you can see, I have previously created this other record that is going to be used for another example that we're going to be covering later on. But for now, so I need to grab this one, come back to my ReadyMac stories, go to the menu, then the project settings, and find the domain tab. Then here we need to type in or just paste our domain. And if everything was configured and all the records are ready, then we should see a map button here after we press on test. So it looks like everything is perfect. Then we just need to click here, map now. And you will automatically see these two options. One is to add a favicon, and the other one is to create or activate your certificate, your SSL certificate for your project. That is going to tell your visitors that your site is secure and safe to navigate. It's off by default, but this one right now it shows on since I was just doing some testing before this with my domain previously in this project. But by default, usually it's off. It's up to you if you want to turn it on. So a few more things to do. The second thing that we need to do is come back here, select this image, since that's the one that if the users click on it, they're going to be redirected to that other project. So we need to look for the link property, delete this one, that it was transferred from the one that we use as a reference. And then here we need to use the website URL option to specify the address that is going to send us to that other project. So I can just easily type it or paste it here. And well, you see I have the option to specify if I want them to, if they click on this, that other project is going to be open on top or on a separate tab. I'm going to leave it as it is right now. And lastly, the last thing that we need to do is go to that other project, to the Anton story. I have it ready right here. And of course, I need to specify and map it to that subdomain too. So find the domain tab, paste it right here. It's going to be mapped to our subdomain. Click on test, map now, and we're ready to go. As you can see, just like I told you a moment ago, this one should appear off by default if this is the first time that you're going to be mapping your project. But now it should be good to go. So let's close this one and come back to our ReadyMac stories. Of course, we need to republish so all those changes take effect for this project. And now I can click here, and it will automatically send me to the live version. And as you can see now, my project, my ReadyMac stories project is mapped to my main domain, your test domain.cloud. And if I click on any of these stories, now it should send me to a different section mapped to a subdomain that it's still linked to my main domain, because we want our users to understand that we're still dwelling inside my page, my project. So if I click here now, it will send me to the subdomain that we just created, that it's still linked to my main domain. And it's going to show me that separate project, the story by Anton, I mean. The story that we created about Anton, yeah. Okay. So this is just an example for you, so you can understand how easy you can create those records to map your project and link it to other projects. But of course, this is not always the case. Sometimes you are not creating something like this, maybe something with a smaller scope, maybe just a simple project with a couple of pages. So in those situations, maybe something as simple as switching your project to the horizontal navigations, to horizontal navigation will be more than enough for you. So as you can see, I have a separate project here ready with just 4 pages. It's called Portfolio. And well, first let me show you how it looks. If I click here, go to preview mode. And as you can see, right now it's set to the default kind of navigation that we have for every Redimac project, where all the pages will appear under the previous one by default in a vertical fashion. So as you can see, if I keep scrolling here, I will see all the pages one after the other one. But maybe we don't want that. We want to create something more like a classic website approach, and we want to separate the pages so all of them are just accessible via links. So let's go back here, and the best way to approach this is by clicking here, projects, look for the viewer tab, and here you'll find the option to switch the navigation. Right now it's on vertical, but if you click here, it will automatically set to horizontal. Okay, let's go back to preview mode so you can see how it looks right now. Now I have my main page here, but I can also now access all the other pages horizontally. If I just click in these arrows right here, they will no longer be one on top of the other one. But of course, this is not quite yet there. We want to actually specify a simple way to access all those pages, to limit the access by creating using widgets to create access to those pages. So let's go back now. If you're curious to see about this portfolio example that I'm using, is actually one of our previously released, sorry, this is one of the latest templates that we released. Is this one right here. It's called Slick. It's a very nice and beautiful template that you can use to start your own portfolio or a similar project. So again, if we go back to the project settings and we click here on the navigation arrows, if we turn this off, now this way all the other pages are only going to be accessible if we create a way to access them, whether that be with links or using images or shape widgets. But before we do that, before we jump into that, I would like you to focus your attention here on this lower section. As you can see, we can specify a title for each page that we have in our project. That's just going to be for you to have it as a reference. But most importantly, this one right here that says custom URL, that's the one that we need to specify or edit if we want to follow that structure here on the address bar. So for example, let's create one for each one of them. Maybe I want to call this one about, this one 46 residents, and I'm going to call this one contact. And I'm going to leave this one as it is because it's going to be my main page and it's going to show my main domain. So let's just leave it as it is. I'm going to call it main page here. And now I can follow and continue by creating links for all those other sections, all those other pages. So there are a few different ways that we can do this. For example, as you can see, I have my main header here, and I have this one called that it's about Diana. And if I click on it, select the text, and find the link property, I can use the one that says Jump to Page, and I can either type in the custom URL that I just specified or just type in the number. Okay. Of course, I can specify the desired style for that. So I'm gonna use this one. So it follows along the styles that I have for my header. And I'm gonna do the same for this other contact. Find the link property, and I'm gonna just go ahead and type here contact. Okay, it will automatically detect that that's the page that we're gonna be pointing at. But of course, that's not the only way that you can use to send your users to other sections of your project. For example, we have this one right here called selected projects. And maybe I want them to, if they click here, they will be sent to another area or section of my project, but maybe still within the same page. And for that, we can use this other option that it's called anchor, a simple and basic anchor link. And it's gonna prompt me to specify the point where I want them to be redirected to. So maybe somewhere right here. Okay. And maybe I just need to add just as is usually when you click on the name of or the title or the icon, the main icon of your project, it will automatically send you to the main page. So I can just type here 1, and it's gonna specify that whenever they click there, they would automatically be sent back to the home page. Okay. Okay, so that's one way to create links to other pages. But also, like I told you a moment ago, we can use other widgets like images. So for example, we have this image and we want them to go to another page that is going to be offering more information regarding this 46 residence project that I work on. Then I can come back here while I have the image selected, and again jump to page and use the one that I created, 46 residents. And actually, perhaps maybe I would like to go even beyond this. For example, I have this other image, and maybe I am really working on a separate project that has information regarding the Soumaya Museum. Then I can actually select this one here. And as you can see, I don't know if you might remember the record that I have previously created. And I already paste the direct URL here. So it's already ready. So whenever they click on this image, they will be automatically redirected to that specific separate project that it's still tied to this project, but using subdomains. So now, again, just like we did with the stories, we need to add our main domain for this one. So go back here and find the domain tab. Click on publish. That way we can start adding our custom domain name. And I think I'm gonna reuse the one that I used for the previous example. Okay, it's telling me that I currently have it mapped to the other project that we just did, but I can just easily unmap it and map it to this one right here. Perfect. And now, again, if I click here, it will show us my profile. I'm sorry, my portfolio. And again, if I click on here, that will send me to the About Diana page, and it will be reflected here. Again, if I click here, it will send me to the other page where I have all the contact information. Again, it will be reflected right here as your test domain, well, your domain.com / the custom URL that we specify for that page. If I click here, I will be sent back to my main domain, my main page. If I click here, I will be sent to the section that I specified for that project. For that page. Then if I click here, I will be sent to a different page, the 46 residence page, where I have more information regarding this project. And as you can see, it kind of gives the vibe that it has like separate projects, but it's still everything under a single project. Everything is basically inside my main project right here, my main portfolio, that is currently mapped to this domain. But again, it's not limited to be open to link, to be able to be linked to other projects using the same method that we use for the stories example that is using subdomains. So if I come back here down and if I click on this image, it will send me to a different project that I have already ready with a subdomain. I call it Somasha Museum at yourtestdomain.cloud. All right. So I think now you have a better understanding of how you can achieve those results depending on the plan that you are currently working on or the scope of the project that you have. So to recap then, if we come back to our main right here, we can use subdomains to create these kind of results where we have our project, one project right here with a few sections that it will send us to different projects, to separate projects. But if you have a smaller project with just a few pages, we can still achieve something similar by switching the navigation type to horizontal and specifying custom URLs for that. And if you're looking to get something similar as our main live stories page, then you can do so by using our code export feature into the One Professional, and if you can request a custom plan with it. So I hope that this webinar again was able to provide you with a clear view of how you can achieve that kind of structures for your projects. So then after this, we jump into the promo code questions or saying bye. So well, hope you like this format. I'll add more information when I share this link with you. So bye bye.